During the past 7 years, I've gotten multiple credit cards, debit cards, and business cards. And in today's video, I want to show you guys what's in my wallet as someone that's in their 20s on their path to building wealth. Throughout this whole video, what I'm going to do, explain the card, the reason I bought it, or got it really, and then give you a review on just kind of my overall experience. Before we dive into it, this wallet, it's from Thom Browne. A lot of people, believe it or not, they ask me where I got this wallet from. My girl got me it, so she got good taste. But again, it's a Thom Browne leather card wallet. So with that being said, let's get into it. One of the most important financial decisions you can make is choosing the right bank to house your money with. Once I turned 18, I immediately knew which bank I wanted to open up a checking account with. And for me, that bank was Charles Schwab, which means my first debit card was with Charles Schwab. Now you might be wondering, why not Bank of America? Why not Chase? Why not Wells Fargo? Why not PNC? And to be honest with you, around the age of 18, right, I was so ingrained, like, yo, I want to be rich, and I was reading so many money books. I came across one book by Ramit Sethi called I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and in that book specifically, he highlighted Charles Schwab. And now, I don't remember all of the main points in the book, but I remember what caught my eye with Charles Schwab and their checking account and their debit card really was like, no ATM fees. Use any ATM in the world, they'll pay the fee for me. If I'm international, I can withdraw anywhere, and they'll cover the fee for me. Last but not least, 24/7 customer service. I don't know about y'all, but one thing I live by is if you got my money and I got a question, if I think I'm being scammed, I should be able to access you any time of the day. And those three things really caught my eye with Charles Schwab. So I opened up a checking account, and that is my main debit card. Another key thing about Charles Schwab is that not only do they have a checkings and savings account, but they also have a brokerage with their platform. So for example, you can open up a regular brokerage or even a retirement brokerage such as a Roth IRA. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if this is my main checkings account, when I deposit money from my job, it goes into this account, then I can easily transfer it to my Roth IRA, easily transfer it to my brokerage. So to me, yes, that debit card from Charles Schwab, it's really just one bank, but in my head, it also counts as my investing because it's all housed under the same bank, if that makes sense. And again, Bank of America and probably Chase, and even Fidelity or Vanguard, they probably offer this, like a checkings and all the banking together. But for me personally, Charles Schwab caught my eye after reading that book. And I mean, for those wondering, it's legit, it's just like this silver card here. Nothing like too crazy, but again, this right here, this is my baby for real. It's been through everything with me. And if I had to be brutally honest with you guys, right, I would legit rate this card a 9 out of 10. And the only downside to this card, and especially just Charles Schwab in general, is that if you're someone that deals with cash, if you need to deposit cash, there are really no physical Charles Schwab banks, so it's nearly impossible to deposit cash. Sometimes if I have to deposit cash, I leave it with a friend and they'll Zelle me, or sometimes you can put in a money order or a check, but again, it's really difficult, nearly impossible really, to deposit cash. Now it's time to dive into my personal credit cards. First up, we have my Discover student card. This right here is also my baby because this has been with me since I went to college. And again, it's got me through those dark days. When I first got this card, right, I think I was maybe 19 or 18 and I was heading into college and I knew I needed a credit card. One, because I wanted to build up my credit. But as someone that has no credit history, and my parents didn't even have me as an authorized user, so in the back of my head, I was trying to figure out, how am I gonna get a credit card? Who's gonna accept me? I had a low credit score and really no credit history at all. And so what I did is I kind of leveraged my superpower. And at the time, my superpower was being a student. So Discover, they have like these student cards, and that's the one I got. They really didn't have any strict requirements in terms of credit score because they know you're young and you don't have any history. So that was legit the first card I applied to and I got accepted to. In terms of features and benefits, I'm gonna be super transparent with you all. It's pretty bland, not gonna lie. I think, they gave cash back on dining and transportation. And as someone that's going to college, obviously I'm eating out and obviously I'm taking Ubers and Lyfts and flights. So that seemed to align with my lifestyle. But another thing, it sounds so minor, but they would give you money if you had like a 3.0 GPA and above. And I'm not sure if it was $20 or $50, but at the end of the day, right? As someone that's in college, another $20, $50, as you know, that goes a long way. So to me, it's like, I'm gonna have a 3.0 GPA regardless because I'm gonna do my work. So let me also get some additional bread. And that right there, I know it sounds so silly, but that was another reason for me to be like, you know what? Let me go with the Discover student card. And I think another thing too, I'm gonna have to like fact check this and go back in time, but they also matched all of your kind of cash back points, I think for that first 6 months or the first year. So basically all the cash back I earned, the more and more I spent and the more cash back I got, they would basically double it at the end of the term, which again, in my eyes was free money as a college student. When looking back on it, that also did kind of not force me, but it kind of provoked me, or kind of, I guess, made me feel like I need to spend more and more, and it kind of tricked me. But again, I still handled my credit card, but that was also another cool feature that they had. So after my Discover Student card, I got the Amex Blue Cash Preferred. Now look, after a couple months in college, it wasn't even a year, a couple months, I decided like, you know what? I need another credit card. And in all honesty, I opened up this credit card for two reasons. One, I just wanted to improve my, what's it called? Not credit utilization, well that too, but also the amount of credit I had, because I only had one credit card. So I wanted to double it to make it look like, you know, I was dealing with a lot of credit or multiple forms of credit. And that was one reason. The other reason too is because it's an Amex. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I got caught up in the whole, oh, you have an Amex, this person has an Amex and all these things. When I was in college, friends of mine had Amex cards and it was legit a status symbol. And in all honesty, I wanted like the Amex Gold or Platinum, but when I saw that annual fee, I said, no. Because for me, $500 for an annual fee, that's legit one of my paychecks. And I knew I couldn't sustain that. So the next best option for me, and like kind of the one I wanted to go with in all reality, was the Amex Blue Cash Preferred, because it seemed to have like the best cashback benefits. I believe it was like 5 or 6% cashback on all groceries. And then I would also get different discounts with different streaming services. So as a result, the way they kind of labeled it, like the $95 annual fee, you will essentially get it back. But in reality, in hindsight, all credit cards do that and I low-key fell for it. But again, this card was perfect for me because again, it was a tier up from a student card, and it also helped me with my ego and my insecurity because I'm like, oh, I have an Amex card now. And so those were the main reasons why I ended up getting that card. If I could go back in time, believe it or not, I would still get this card. Despite it having an annual fee and kind of being like a mid-tier card, for me in college, it was a great card because it's like, okay, this is what it's like to have an annual fee or a big boy credit card. And it just helped me become more confident when it came to dealing with credit cards and finances, because I was able to increase my spending limit on that card to almost like $40,000, which is crazy to do as a college student. But again, having that at a young age showed me and forced me really to be responsible with my money and make sure I pay my credit card off all the time. When it comes to today, I barely use that credit card. Same thing as the Discover card. What I do, put a subscription and set up automatic payments, because the main card that I do use and the card that we have next is the Capital One Venture X. So after graduating college, I knew one thing. I got a full-time job, which means I'm gonna be spending more money, and not spending money crazy, but again, I'm gonna be traveling to New York, to DC, to see my friends, to see my girl, and I might go on vacation and trips. And so I knew I was gonna be spending money. And that's why I got this one. As you can see, I got a lot of wear and tear because, you know, I've been using it. But this card, it's really labeled as a travel card, and that's the whole purpose of it. I knew I was gonna be spending so much money, so in my head, I'm like, if I'm gonna spend bread, let me at least get miles and points for it that I can redeem later. If I wanna go to freaking Tokyo, that's like my dream destination. So let me use miles that I can leverage for Tokyo for a future trip based off of all the spending I'm going to do. And I don't remember all the benefits and features with this card, but I know when I signed up, if you spent X amount of dollars and X amount of months, you would get a mileage bonus. They give you an annual credit limit. They help pay for TSA pre-check. And then I believe if you kind of order travel through their portal, you get 10x miles for certain things or 6x miles if it's for hotel or transportation. It's so many perks for traveling that it's a great card. It is really, really a great card. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't even have that Amex Blue Cash. I would legit just have that Cap One Venture X because you get so many perks and benefits. And legit, that's why it's my main card that I use day to day, just because of the great benefits that it has specifically for traveling, because that is what means the most to me. And don't get it confused, you don't earn miles just on travel, but also everyday purchase. Everyday purchase such as groceries, streaming, Uber, Lyft, you get miles on those as well. So again, all of this adds up and you can use it for a future trip. Now, for some people, you might not care about traveling and you might want cash back, then that might not be the card for you. But again, for me personally, I'm trying to travel. As most of you know, I also make extra money outside of work through content creation. Now, to run my business over the years, I ended up having a separate bank account because in the beginning, things were getting kind of blurred between the lines and I ended up spending a lot of money and not saving and all these things. So now I have a separate account for my content creation money. To manage all this money, I have 3 additional cards. A debit card, a savings card, and then an Apple Card. First, let's dive into the debit cards. When trying to find a bank to kind of work with when it came to my content creation, I knew I wanted a bank that would allow me to scale in the future. If I'm gonna take this serious and find a way to turn into a business, I wanna make sure I'm working with a reputable bank, and a bank that's kind of not only gonna last the time, but can support me when I scale to freaking hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. And for me, that was Chase Bank. I've seen a lot of other prominent creators use Chase Bank when I first started out, and after doing some research, I saw kind of the different benefits, perks and features once you start kind of having a bigger bank balance essentially in your account. So for me, I was like, all right, cool. That's legit it. Chase is gonna be the one I want. However, there is one big downside, and it might seem minor, but it low-key is important. They do charge a monthly fee. And I hate when banks charge monthly fees, because I'm like, if you have my money, you're earning interest on that money, so why do I need to pay you? And it's one of the things where, like, since this is a business account, if your limit goes, I think, under $2,500, they'll hit you with a $15 fee. And transparently, as a small creator, when I started out, almost every month I had a $15 fee. But for those of you that are entrepreneurs, right? If you need a checkings and a savings with a bank, I like Chase, and they work for me, and I can deal with that kind of minimum fee. If you can't, do some more research and find one that, again, aligns with your values, but also your needs. And now last but not least, we have the credit card. Hopefully you can see it. This is the Apple credit card. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This is such a good card. And I know, it sounds crazy because you're like, Apple, right? I got that card because I remember when I started doing content, my old MacBook, it was an Air, it was cooked. I tried doing freaking Premiere Pro, After Effects, and it was done for. And I was in a jam because I'm like, I'm trying to start this up, but I really don't have enough money from my 9-to-5 job to get a whole new MacBook. So I opened up that card, and the main thing when that card came out, and I think it's still true today, it's 0% interest when you do an installment plan for an Apple product. So long story short, I got a new MacBook Pro Studio, and they let me do monthly payments, 0% interest free for like, I think almost 2 years or something. I paid it off as soon as possible, but the fact that I could do that, I was like, perfect, I need this card. And it's not just because of that one thing or that one purchase, but it's also because my entire life I use Apple products. Like legit right now for this video, I have the iPad here in the script, right? Legit, where's my phone? Phone right here. I use like MacBook. I use so many Apple products. So it's just in my head, it's like, why not? Like, you know what I mean? So their monitors, their chargers, everything, I legit use it. I'm ingrained in the Apple ecosystem. And you might be thinking like, what's the whole point of having a card for just Apple? I get it. But this is what works for me. I value Apple products. I'll buy it day in, day out. Price goes to 10K, I'm paying 10K. Call me a sucker, I don't care. It's just, that's what's working for me, and that's my lifestyle at the moment. So that's why I have that card. Again, it works for me. Would I recommend someone else to get that Apple card for their business? Of course not. And that's the only card I have because it's Apple. If you're wondering, I don't even have a business credit card because I would rather just use cash to make sure I don't overspend and go deep into debt when it comes to my business. Remember, the whole point of this video is to legit just show you guys what's in my wallet. You don't need to copy this stack. Do what works for you. If I could leave you with 2 pieces of advice, right? When it comes to your debit card, right, for your checkings, go with a bank that you can trust, but that's easy for your life. Like if you're someone that's dealing with cash, you might need Bank of America or Chase. If you're someone that don't deal with cash, maybe Schwab or SoFi might work for you. Again, figure out what works for your lifestyle. But again, always check, make sure there's no fees, make sure they have Zelle, because there's gonna be a time when you need to kind of transfer money immediately. Zelle's gonna be your best friend. So that's one thing. The next thing, when it comes to all these, what do you call it? Let me get it out here. These credit cards, in all honesty, look, whether you open up a good card or a bad card, you can always change it down the road. You can open up another one, you can close one. Yes, I know it'll hurt your credit score for a little bit, but it doesn't matter. You can always swap and change with your credit card. What I would say is this, my 7 years of experience with credit cards, 1, be responsible. As you can see, I have almost, 3 main credit cards. I only use one of them now. My Discover and Amex, I put those to the side because I don't want to be tempted to overspend, and I don't want to have to think about paying off 3 different credit bills. Like, it's too much. And I know it might sound like a little bit, but when you get older, pushing 30, 35, you got kids, family, and other things, you don't have to worry about 3 different bills you got to handle. So again, don't worry too much on the types of credit cards and all that stuff. You can change it. The most important thing is being disciplined with your credit and making sure you're building up your credit score. One more tidbit, or I guess pro tip for credit cards, right? 1, see if you can become an authorized user from your parents or a family member that has good credit. They must have good credit. Google it right now, authorized user. The next tip is try to get kind of a, I forgot what it's called, but I think it's called a credit builder loan. I had one in college at Georgetown, and basically you take out $1,000 loan, but you give them the $1,000 back and they make basically monthly payments for you. And it looks like in the credit bureau, like another form of loan and debt, and you're paying it back on time. That'll be my other tidbit. And that's pretty much it. Again, don't complicate it. Don't worry and stress so much. This is just what's in my wallet and what's been helping me kind of get through this financial journey. As always, I can't state it enough, man. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me on these videos. So please, as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as well. I'm active there. Shoot me a DM, shoot me a comment, whatever it is, I respond. And that's pretty much it. As always, love your wallet because it'll love you back. Peace.